All right. Hey, Karen, how are you?
Hey, hey!
Hey. Thanks for hanging out with me today for 10 with Jen Pandemic Edition.
Woo-hoo.
Yep, still not at all cheesy, 10 with Jen. Okay, so I'm going to ask you 10-ish questions about
Okay.
what's going on in your life right now, in your family's life, and we're just going to hang out and have our friends join us, and we're all just going to talk here together for a few minutes.
Sounds great. You
Okay.
can see my dog in the background right now, so
Oh, sweet Bliss.
yeah.
So glad she's with us as well.
Sweet or just bliss? I'm just kidding.
Maybe her name doesn't describe her so well. Is that where we're at right now?
We are, we'll see.
Yeah.
We love her, but she's
So,
still adjusting.
yeah, I totally get that. So, okay, speaking of Bliss, she is someone that you're sheltering with. Who else
Yes.
are you sheltering with, and where are you sheltering?
So we are sheltering here at our house in Flower Mount, and I'm sheltering with my husband, Brian, and our kids, Bailey and Brody. And that's really it.
Yeah, that's
just the Bunch clan.
Yep, and Bliss.
And Bliss.
It just occurred to me that Bliss is also a B name. So you've got Bailey, Brody, and Bliss. All the little
I'm the oddball out.
You're the only non-B. Yep.
That's true. That's true.
All right. So question number 2. What is one routine that has changed in your house since shelter in place began?
Taking my kids to school.
Mm.
I would say that's changed. Having to pull out all my old teaching tricks from my hat and teach them.
Mm-hmm.
And I can remember telling so many friends that I would never homeschool because Bailey and I would not do well together homeschooling.
I be one of those friends that you said that to.
I think you have. And my predictions have been true. But we've been doing so much better the last few weeks. So
yeah, I think once you kind of like settle into it, it gets better. And of course, we still have our ups and downs. But
right.
We homeschooled for a while. We started public schooling this year, and apparently that was short-lived for us because we loved every minute of it. But here we are back at home again. So
and I work with Brody. I'm like, Brody could stay home all the time and learn and just. But I think Bailey and I are just too similar, and that's okay.
I totally get it. Same with me and my oldest. Totally get that. Okay, so next question. What food has your family eaten the most during quarantine?
I think the answer would be different for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I would say with Brody, it would be pizza Lunchables because that is his go-to for everything. But the rest of us, it's probably bacon.
Bacon.
It just sounds random.
A lot of bacon too.
We have gone through so much bacon because we put it on salads, we put it on sandwiches, we put it like in eggs. We just use a lot of bacon, I guess.
Yeah. So we have been, so we do pizza nights on Friday nights, which if we have leftover bacon, sometimes I don't do bacon on my pizza, but everyone else in my family likes it. But we've been doing breakfast dinner every Wednesday night. We've kind of got this little schedule, so it just makes it easier for me with meal planning. And so we have bacon every Wednesday night and other times as well. So we've also a lot of bacon.
Gone through lots of bacon. Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't really even realize that until you said that, but that's us. Okay, so how is your family staying active while you're in quarantine?
We typically go on family walks first thing in the morning. We started that the very first week. The first week of quarantine, which was March 15th, was our spring break.
Mm-hmm.
And the kids, Brody especially, they're both super active. And so we started just going on walks. And then at nighttime, we do family bike rides. So that's just kind of what we've done. We are outside as much as possible. Yeah. And that's what we do.
Yeah, we're really fortunate that the weather's been nice the majority of the time because it's made it easy to get outside. We've been doing a lot of biking also. The girls, Ashlyn just learned how to ride her bike without training wheels. So that's been
so fun.
It is so exciting. That was a long time coming.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. And we've been out in the back a lot. We put a little swing set in the backyard. So we've been outside as much as we can be for sure. Now it's starting to get a little bit warm. So that's harder. And then we haven't done a lot of family walks. We've done a couple, but I've been going walking as much as I can because it's kind of an escape, It's like the one place.
That was originally what it was supposed to be for me.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I got one day of that.
Yeah.
And the rest of it was like, everybody comes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
okay. So now this is an extra, this is a bonus question, but it makes me think of what you just said. So, since that was your alone time and now it's not your alone time, do you have any alone time? Is there any time you're taking for yourself?
What is alone time? I'm so confused. What is that?
Yes.
No. I do not get enough alone time.
Yeah.
And that's okay because neither does Brian.
Yeah.
Our kids have really, to be completely authentic, have struggled and have had a really hard time with the quarantine in place. And they need us more than we need alone time. And that's hard for me because I crave alone time because that's just how I replenish my brain, my heart, my soul. I just need alone time.
Yeah.
And but right now they honestly have needed us more than we've needed that. So
that's a really good thought. I definitely think usually when I walk, it's either before the girls get up in the morning or after Lucas will put them down and I'll go out in the evenings, because exactly the same thing. They need us. That's been something that has definitely, it's interesting, you'd think, oh, they're home more, we're around each other more, but it's been so hard on them being off of their normal routine and not having their friends, and just there's so much to it that just has they weren't expecting it, they don't know how to process it, and so
yes. I think it affects them even more than you realize. Like the first few weeks I was like, oh, they're fine. And then Brody's school sent out a video of all of his teachers the previous years. It was all the staff at his preschool. And my sweet Bubba bawled his eyes out for like 30 minutes. And that is not the norm. If you know Brody, he will fall on the concrete with bloody elbows and knees and be like, oh, can I keep riding my bike? He doesn't cry.
Yeah.
And so that's when Brian and I both were like, we took a step back and we said, okay, we've got to reevaluate this because our kids are struggling.
So. Yeah. I think that's really important for us to remember because we can feel really frustrated and stressed out, and we think we need to take care of ourselves so that we're not frustrated. But I think it's important to remember that yes, that's true, but our sweet kids, we have so many more coping mechanisms than they do. And so, but we're moms and that's what we do. I mean, you sacrifice for your kids. So whether it's hard or easy, that's what you do. Okay. So here's a two-part question. I want to know the thing that you are most annoyed about with quarantine and the thing that you're most thankful for during quarantine.
Oh, the annoyed one. I mean, I feel like it changes every day. I think I was super annoyed at the beginning because I could not find certain groceries that I needed,
Yep.
I think as it progressed, some days I'm annoyed because I don't get alone time. But I feel like all the things that I'm thankful for outweigh the things that I'm annoyed for. So I don't really, does that make sense?
Yeah, totally.
I would say the thing I'm most thankful for is Brian, hands down. He has kind of been our rock. He's always our rock, but he's just stepped up. I think I have, actually, I don't think I've unloaded the dishwasher since March 15th. He does all the dishes. He's just really been so helpful because I've been trying to focus so much on school. He's helped in other areas just to kind of help keep, the house smooth.
So thankful for that.
Yeah.
I feel you there. That's been Lucas too. And that's been a huge blessing. I shout out to all those single mamas out there because man, I don't know.
I know.
The Lord has given them just an extra measure of strength to get through this. I know because it is
so true.
It is tough even with a partner. So, okay. So, this is another very important question.
Ooh, okay.
How many times have you worn real pants?
I've actually probably worn them once a week at least.
Okay.
Because I've had to make videos and things. And so I put them on for a video. And I've worn dresses a few times too, just because I needed to feel like myself.
Yeah.
But the dresses I wear, they're kind of like pajamas.
Exactly.
So Like,
That's what I was gonna say. I've worn a dress a couple times too, but I'm pretty sure it's more comfortable than my yoga pants are. So
yeah, yeah, yeah.
really get a point for that. So
Yeah, that's so funny. But I have a good friend, and we joke with each other. Let's do a jean check. Do they still fit?
yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
I've pulled mine out every once in a while for that same purpose.
Yeah.
And then I joined Weight Watchers. So yes, this has been that's been a tough thing. It's, I mean, of course, why would you, put on all your, out to be out in public at home, so let's wear our stretchy pants. But man, it's been hard being at home to be disciplined to not just grab a snack every time you walk past the pantry,
Well, and with Bailey, one of the things that she's always wanted to do is she's wanted to learn how to really learn how to bake from scratch, a lot of different things. So every week we've been baking something new. Mm-hmm. And so when you bake, there's sweets all the time at our house, and we're not I don't have sweets in my home. So it's been oh my goodness.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. So, totally feel you. But
yeah,
thankful for the yoga pants to make us comfortable. All right. So what is the thing that you've realized that you most took for granted before COVID-19 hit?
I think I've always known how lucky I am that my mom and my sister are close. We are together a lot. Mm-hmm. Poor Brian, sometimes he thinks we're together too much. But I think I've taken it for granted because I went 6 or 7 weeks without hugging my mom. And that's hard.
Yeah.
We went the first 3 or 4 weeks without even seeing my mom or sister. And then when we realized how our kids were dealing with everything, we realized we needed to, they need to at least see their nanny and their kiki. So
yeah,
my mom and my sister quarantined themselves for 2 weeks. With Brian being what people consider, what's the word I'm looking for?
Vulnerable.
Yes. Thank you. We've had to be super careful. Mm-hmm. I haven't been to stores. I've only been doing curbside pickup. Mm-hmm. We've just had to be super careful because, all those what ifs. And with knowing 2 people who have passed of COVID, mm-hmm. it's just something that, we have taken probably more precautions than we need to, but for us to feel less anxious, it's what we just need to do. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So I took for granted my mom and my sister and hugging them and actually getting to be with them as much as I wanted to be.
Yeah. Yeah. We were the same for the first several weeks. We weren't with my parents much. And then we had to be because of recording worship and stuff for church. And so we realized, and it was the first time we saw them after we hadn't seen them for a while, we realized, man, how hard, how hard that was to get apart from them. So that's definitely, I think always when you have family nearby, you just kind of take that for granted.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Date nights too. I took those for granted.
What'd you say?
Date nights.
Oh, yes.
I took those. I'm we always love them and cherish them. But I'm whoa, what was that?
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. Okay, so how have you been connecting with God during this time? I think that I've heard a lot of people kind of say, oh, you have so much time now. There's no excuse for not, studying your Bible and being in the Word. And I know that for us, and I mean, always that's something that you have to make time for. That doesn't just happen naturally. It's not like it just falls in your lap. But for us, we've actually been busier. And I think that, in the past, a lot of times I would actually do my, Bible study quiet time when the big girls were at school and Callie was napping. And since that's not happening anymore and there's always noise in my house, it hasn't been as easy as I had hoped it would be. And so it is still quite an effort to get that done. So how are you, how is that working in your house and your life?
So I'm doing the study that I know several people from our church are doing is this one. And I actually do it a lot of times. Bailey has certain reading assignments that she has to do online, and I will sit at the kitchen table and do this while she's doing her reading assignment. I do that probably 3 or 4 times a week. But I think the first few weeks of this whole experience, I didn't talk to God. I just it was I was so overwhelmed with everything that was going on. I just forgot to be oh my gosh, God, I can't do this. I need you. Mm-hmm. Help me. Mm-hmm. And I think, around the beginning of April, Brian and I were both what's wrong with us? And we're oh my gosh, we're not prioritizing that. And so the moment we started prioritizing that, everything just kind of started falling in place again. And we felt more peace. We felt less anxiousness.
Mm-hmm.
And so one thing that we do as a family is we, every month we have like a new memory verse,
Mm-hmm.
which sometimes the month is like 6 or 7 weeks. Let's be honest.
Yes, us too.
And so this is hanging in our kitchen right now. And this is the verse. Does that look backwards to you, or is it
No,
right?
it looks normal to me.
Okay. So this is the verse that's hanging in our kitchen right now. And it's just, give all your worries and cares to God, for he cares about you. And it's 1 Peter 5:7. And that's just the verse that we have been focusing on with the kids, especially. Like anytime they're worried, we're like, well, have you given your worries to the Lord? Have you drawn a picture about that? Have you, Bailey started journaling. Have you journaled about it? So it's just trying to teach them those coping mechanisms and teaching them how to talk to God and how God listens, so.
Yeah. I think we may steal that verse for our next memory verse, because we've been dealing with some of that as well. And so that's great.
Yeah.
And it goes along with our sermon series right now, because it's 1 Peter. So.
And this was before this sermon series started. This is
Man.
like April 1st week. Yeah, it was before Easter.
Love it.
So,
So good. All right. Okay. So what is the number one thing that you have found that you could not survive, or maybe would not want to survive, maybe wouldn't want to survive quarantine without?
Hopefully this is not too much information for people, but my bubble baths.
I was actually wondering about your baths. I was like, you get alone time maybe in your bath.
So that is it. So I have, if you know me, that is like, I read in my tub. I literally will watch shows on Netflix in my tub. And again, this might be too TMI. Sorry, guys. But I get my Epsom salts, I get my bubbles, and I will literally soak in a tub for an hour.
Yeah.
And so that's what I do. And Brian knows that. Like, he's like, he lets me do that. He gives that to me. And so,
yeah. It is good.
Yep.
At least you have that little way to recharge and kind of get away.
I do.
Of course, when you're a mom, if your kids are still awake and you're taking a bath, they often find their way in there anyway.
Yes.
So.
Yes, they do. So mine, I try to do it after.
Yeah.
But our kids are staying up later now that the sun's out. So I'm like, oh, I don't want to be up till that late, but sometimes I am.
Yeah, I get it. Totally. Okay. So last question. What is the one thing that you've learned that you are going to take with you? Maybe one new discipline, or just something that you've picked up during this time that you're going to continue on with when we kind of resume normal life, whatever the normal, looks like more. I know they've started opening places up a little bit, but we're still not really back to normal.
Right.
So, kids back in school, all that. What are you going to take with you and carry into the next phase of your life?
I think, honestly, I feel like our family walks and our family bike rides will continue. That is something that our kids literally look forward to every day. So that is something that we will continue. Before, we would just sit in our front yard, like Brian and I, and the kids would just ride around. But now they are so excited that Brian and I go with them. And so that's something we will continue on. I think for just like a new discipline I've learned, I hadn't really thought about it that way, but I think one, now that my mind's going, is just continuing to do a heart check, mind check with the kiddos. I think this whole year, Bailey's whole school year has been a very interesting school year for her. And throughout this year, we've been doing a lot of what we call heart checks. How's your heart? Tell me how you're feeling. But we haven't done mind checks until COVID started. Because what I realized is while Bailey's heart might be okay, her mind is racing with thoughts. And so I think that's probably a new practice that we will take away from it, is not just doing heart checks, but also doing mind checks with the kiddos.
Love that. That's so good.
So, yeah.
So good. The Lord is teaching us a lot during this time.
Yes.
And we just have to be aware of that and have the eyes to see that. So that's really good. Well, thanks for hanging out with me today.
Absolutely.
I'm going to let you go. I know that you have a vet appointment for Sweet Bliss.
I do. Oh, yes. This one right here. Wait, there. Yes. Oh, there she is.
Right there. Photo bomb or video bomb.
I know. I mean, what kind of dog has to go and get allergy shots?
Yeah.
This kind of dog.
High maintenance.
It's true.
All right. Okay. Well, thanks for hanging out with me today, and I will see you soon.
All right. Bye. Thanks, guys.
Bye.